Official Diesel Gym Fightwear now available at dgfightwear.com. It absolutely reeks of diesel. I'm Andrew, and this is the Diesel Breakdown. When looking at how Dustin and Conor matched up this Sunday, we first got to take a look at how their second encounter played out. Now, their first bout was so long ago that Dustin Poirier is scarcely recognisable. He started out as a southpaw with a nice shifting right hand and not much else. So last week we got UFC veterans Dan Hardy and Veronica Macedo into Diesel to demonstrate that shift.
When Poirier is chasing someone down, he steps through and chases them, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with this. So we're gonna start in a southpaw stance, and I'm gonna throw my rear hand, my left hand, as if I'm gonna land it. As it starts to come out, I'm gonna imagine there's a piece of elastic between my hand and my back foot, and it's gonna pull my back foot forward, which then gives me another power shot. Yeah? So my first punch is not the one that's gonna land. My next one's the one that lands. McGregor will stay in the same stance as he's moving away. So if Poirier does the step through, that's the next one that's gonna get me. Because I'm gonna be either moving out of range in a straight line, where I'm gonna take that, or I'm gonna be doing what he did to Aldo, which is looking for, first punch, looking for that counter there. So that's where that second punch comes into play. So over the top with the first one, and then the second one lands, okay?
Now, this technique is emphasized strongly in the Russian style of boxing. So renowned boxing coach KV Gradopolov valued the old Fitzsimmons shift, where you step into the opposite stance and smack the body. Now, he viewed this as such an important piece of boxing technique that he documented it in his book, The Tactics of the Foreign Masters. This shift is what allows Dustin to cover ground quickly while still being offensively potent. But it's not the only old school trick that Poirier has picked up. He, along with the criminally underrated Mads Burnell, are some of very few examples of old school cross-arm guard defense that you'll see in MMA. Now, when you think of famous cross-arm guard users, you will think of people like Floyd Mayweather with his variant that often gets called the Philly Shell, and they are practically impossible to hit. This isn't true of Dustin Poirier. He gets hit all the time in every fight. But he is good at defending individual shots. The sheer volume that Max Holloway was able to pour onto Dustin Poirier opened him up for more punches, especially in the later rounds. Now, Poirier can successfully defend single shots, but when he's confronted with hundreds and hundreds of them from a fighter who throws more punches in a single bout than some throw in their entire careers, of course those shots accumulate over time and put him in danger. Now, unfortunately for the Irishman here, Conor McGregor's not really a combination puncher. He throws largely single power shots or two-shot combinations. And even then, he really does his best work on the counter. So while Holloway was able to find success in throwing non-stop punches to the point where something has to get through, Conor was routinely unable to find his target. Now, Poirier's defense is not just the shoulder roll and blocking on the elbow, so this is a key part of it. One of his main things is actually a simple pull counter that anyone can do. McGregor's got the tendency to overreach on his punches, but he's gotten away with it for a lot of his career. When we see Conor fire, Dustin pulls and makes Conor's punch fall short. And we can see that McGregor here is actually leaning too far forward. His head is well past where it should be, and we can actually see that his left foot here isn't even planted on the floor. So this makes it impossible for him to defend the incoming check hook from this position. Now, the times where Poirier failed to land the check hook, this wasn't actually because of McGregor's defensive savvy, it was just simply that he had landed and had moved Poirier. Now, here we see him exploit the exact same opening in Conor's attack, this time using the elbow block, catching the jab on the left arm, the left straight with his right arm, and then following through with the left hook into the exact same opening as before. And he's able to find these check hooks even when he's in a compromised position. But this defense was not the only reason that Poirier was able to beat McGregor. McGregor keeps a very wide stance as a fighter, and this has long left him vulnerable to low kicks. But outside of a few thrown by Eddie Alvarez, it's rare to see a fighter actually make use of them. Dustin Poirier, however, throws them consistently and throws them patiently. Originally, Conor was this bouncing in and out fighter who threw a wide variety of kicks, including a taekwondo hook kick, which seemed to only serve as a distraction from his punches. But after 2 ACL tears, we've seen those kicks largely disappear, and now it appears that he only kicks on occasion. Whether this is a result of those injuries or just a change in McGregor's overall approach, the effect is the same. The best way to fight a kicker is to kick back at them so that you're still fighting from their range, and McGregor doesn't do this, so he takes kicks again and again and again, and eventually this is what slows him down. He becomes more hittable, and finally this leads to Dustin's flurry, in which McGregor gets knocked out. So, how is the rematch different? In the rematch, Conor actually did attempt to make a smart adjustment. He started throwing kicks back. Kicking with the kicker is always a good idea because leg kicks are easy to land and they don't have to be picture perfect in order to do some damage. But Conor comes out swinging these leg kicks with no setup at all. He's kicking full power on every shot. At first I thought he was going for calf kicks because he was kicking so low, but it looks like he's actually aiming for just above the knee, kicking the hardest point of the knee, which is likely what caused the ultimate leg break. Now you also have to be careful of this if you're going for calf kicks, because the calf kick is dangerously close to the shin and all the fighter needs to do is slightly turn their foot out in order to check your kick. As Chris Weidman found out, he kicked full power with a calf kick and then he broke his leg. And here are some strikes that Conor McGregor could have used to hide the leg kick and land it with more success. I went with strikes that I know Conor McGregor actually throws, his left straight, his lead uppercut. We're just taking it easy in these demonstrations. We don't want anyone to accidentally get hurt, especially not when we're dealing with things like leg kicks, calf kicks, check-in. So we're just taking this super light. You'd need to deliver this with more actual precision and power were you doing it in live drilling or sparring, but for the purposes of this we just take it easy and just show you the technique. And that's the video. You got to see a breakdown and my attempt at a Conor McGregor impersonation. So have fun training.